Шановні колеги, будемо продовжувати.
Dear colleagues, let us continue work in the Ukrainian Crisis Media Center with the event Develop Ukraine, Clusters Development. We have Viacheslav Geraschenko, Deputy Dean of the Kyiv Mohyla Business School. We have Iryna Kostiushko, owner of agrarian company Zarya, member to the Zhytomyr City Council, Sergiy, Sukhomyn, Mayor of Zhytomyr, Volodymyr, Morynets, Professor at the National University, the Kyiv Mohyla Academy, and then invite Mr. Viacheslav Geraschenko to the microphone. Good afternoon. In our focus today, we have the issue of developing Ukrainian regions, and this is the problem issue for many people in Ukraine and even beyond Ukraine. So the question is, what development? Development in what way? We would like to think about principles and approaches which allow to make this development large-scale, sustainable, and sustainable in time. We wish to develop Ukraine for our children, grandchildren, for those Ukrainians who live and act here today. Develop Ukraine. This is an initiative from the Kyiv Mohyla Business School in their attempt to answer the question, in what way development of a big country could be made sustainable, large-scale development. That's why we study the concepts which allow to meet similar challenges. So one of such approaches is the cluster approach. It was intellectually developed by Mike Butler. He provided for creation of specific systems on some concentrated territory which unite state bodies, business, NGOs, academics, etc. And these units should be focused on some specific idea. To make this understandable, I will provide some examples. For example, the cluster of Chile wine, they have the amount of export at the level to 3 billion per year. For example, in another example, in small French village with 3,000 residents, they satisfy 75% demand for bottles for perfumes. Also, Italian clusters of socks production, which having 25,000 residents, cover the 70% of global demand in socks. In China, a small cluster which produce lightnings for cigarettes, 90% of the global demand, covering 90% of this global demand. Thus, it allows to unite competencies, knowledge, and opportunities. We are able to generate very efficient economic process, business, commercial processes. Clusters usually are called the wealth which attracts wealth cluster. It is about talents, about knowledge, about resources, about extreme efficiency, about idea and geographical concentration. We studied this concept, but moreover, we learned in practice this concept, and on the framework of Develop Ukraine project, we share this knowledge and competencies to our trainees in the MBA program. Now we are ready to deliver this program at the ecology specialty in the Kyiv Mohyla Academy. Viacheslav mentioned that clusters are based on the natural opportunities and natural talents. I believe that we should strengthen the natural abilities instead of producing something absolutely new from scratch. The business position is as follows. Forming a cluster, you should base your success on the biggest successes in this district in the past. We should understand what was good, analyze the successes, and strengthen the opportunities. Cluster approach is a new approach to regional development, to development of the territory. Businesses are very pragmatic. They try to develop what we already have. And here the most important becomes human factor. And understanding what we should preserve. I work in Zhytomyr region. In the past, our region was a leader in production of linen. We had a very good, very good fabric, very good plant factory, which produced high quality linen in the past based on the raw materials grown around our region. And this is an example of good cluster. When we say that in the past our region was very successful in production of high quality linen, we are speaking about which will be produced based on our natural and physical resources. Also, clusters are based on a very narrow specialization in the region, and this requires development of very special knowledge, which could become a center for spreading this very specific knowledge for other regions. And here it comes to partnership with the state, and the state could contribute much in developing cluster. Also, educational system, the academics could assist in developing necessary knowledge in the cluster. And moreover, what I mentioned from the very beginning, the clusters could not be established on a plain field, on a brown field. we need to have associations. We found out that we'll drastically lack different professional associations. The government authorities are very interested in having association clusters because this will mean new jobs, new taxes, well-being of people, and clusters also can become good environment for innovations. Education should play a leading role. Development of clusters without high efficient management would not be possible. So we need to have qualified managers having understanding about clusters and about development of territories. So now we seek for those managers who will assist us. Viktor Kovtanyuk. Today I am here in the role of leader in the contest for selection of managers for our project, for clusters which we are going to develop. Our Develop Ukraine project has been being implemented for 3 years now, and we found out that now there is a huge demand for development of the regions, and clusters could become a proper tool for regional development, as our experts believe. And now we announce a contest for managers. So what shall be the criteria? The first and the most important is to have ambition of being involved in the regional development. Those managers could represent different sectors: business sector, local state authorities, or education and science, or civil society activists. A cluster is a union of players in a specific territory. That's why we are looking for interested stakeholders from different areas. Those managers could represent different regions in size or scale. This could be united communities, or small villages, or even communities which do not coincide with administrative division in Ukraine. Our contest will last till December 8. In order to participate, you have to download KMBS cluster UA, where fill in the questionnaire in application form, provide some narrative letter describing your intention and your project, and we will provide you with the stipend of 70%, in the amount of 70% of our first workshop, which we will do jointly with the cluster navigators. For Fox Williams, founder of this company, has been working with clusters. Last year, he was invited by KMBS to lecture about clusters, and now he will be involved in this program. The workshop will last for 3 days, where in concentrated form he will explain strategic steps in development of clusters in Ukrainian territory. Now I invite Mr. Volodymyr Morynets. As you have already understood, the Kyiv Mohyla Business School offers a new educational product, which I think is of big demand in Ukraine today. Unfortunately, many people continue to live with the realities of industrial age, but we currently exist in different area. This is like to compare 2D and 3D vision. The 2D vision is produces a statement like shipbuilding is highly developed in Mykolaiv city, and that's it. And when the shipbuilding declines, the city has to die. While we are looking at the self-development of the land, a self-development of a territory, at this, with this approach, cluster could take into consideration social, economic, and managerial dimensions and allow the territory, the local community, to move forward and to create symbiosis, which can become successful. This is a good idea, which deprives us from that narrow view at the order of things. At the same time, education and knowledge about clusters could not be single segmental, so to say, by its nature, because clusters is based on the cooperation of different segments, and here technologies have to cooperate with managers have to cooperate with the state authorities. For example, a road is needed to intensify transportation and communication inside the region. The main basis for clusters is negotiation and dialogue. The Bolshevik approach means that responsibility is somewhere beyond me, and the next statement is, if I'm right, then you're wrong. We have to overcome this very simple approach. If I am right, this does not obligatory mean that you, with your views, are not right. Maybe you are also right. I think that this approach is important for people. I think this is an important, so to say, humanitarian element which is present in the Kyiv Mohyla Academy. And this very humanitarian approach, very humanitarian moment allows us to go beyond the horizon and to look more widely at the surrounding world. And with this, I would like to express hope that this will make this product which we offer today successful. Do we have any questions? Thank you very much. Since there are no questions, thank you, dear friends. Dear colleagues, next event will be at 2 o'clock sharp.